let's dive into some topics here. Let's talk. I want to talk about this crazy incident that happened on the set of Rust, where Alec Baldwin's like he shot two people with one bullet. I mean, that's got to be.
That's some Lee Harvey Oswald shit right there.
Is this like Wanted Part 2? Did he curve the bullet around the camera, or what was going on there? But yeah, there was a live rant, and if you followed it, it just gets weirder and weirder, because at this point now, like, the property person is saying, oh, it was sabotage. Someone planted that live round there. It's sabotage. Like, it just every day it gets deeper and deeper as to how negligent, how like wildly negligent things were on the set of that film. I don't understand how a live round ends up anywhere near a gun that you're using in a movie that you're pointing at people. How does that even happen? And it wasn't the first live round that they found on there.
No.
So like, what the hell?
Target practicing with the guns.
Yeah, like, what the hell is going on there?
Biz, you know what ammunition is going for right now. You don't it doesn't accidentally just roll around, right? I mean, that's value.
Yeah.
The armory lady was 22, I believe, and a cam model. Did not seem like somebody that should have been in charge.
How does she get that gig? Is she the one that's in all the photos that's going around of her holding the two guns like this? Is that her?
Yeah, Nick Cage yelled at her on the set of another movie because I guess she was being reckless on that too. So yeah, I just don't understand how that happens. It's like nobody else should be handling guns.
Who's more reckless? The 22-year-old cam model who's in charge of the guns, or the people who are hiring the 22-year-old cam model who's in charge of the guns? You know?
All of the above. I mean, all of the above. Also, I don't care who you are. Camera angles take care of the issue of pointing guns at other human beings.
Yeah,
you don't point a gun at another human being, no matter what the situation is.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things. No director should ever have asked for that. No director. I don't want to blame the director of photography, but if that was notes came there, that should not have happened, and the actor should have refused. You don't point a gun at another human being unless you intend to use it. These are really simple rules. Anyone who's ever fired a weapon, there's so much wrong with this situation.
Yeah.
I'm fairly newly trained, and yeah, that is a rule that they hammer in your heads. Under no circumstances, you could have just emptied it and know it's empty. You do not point it at anybody.
And if you ever pick up a gun, the first thing you're supposed to do is check it to see if it's loaded. So I mean, and I knew as soon as I heard this thing, I was like, oh man, we're gonna in the coming days, we're gonna hear a lot of stuff. I had no idea it was gonna get this out there, but I mean, of course. And how did he shoot two people? I mean, I understand it probably went through the one victim and hit the other one, but I mean, how does that happen unless you're just twirling the gun around and being dumb and just being completely negligent, or you're pointing the gun directly at the camera and it goes through the lens? I mean, it's crazy. How does this happen in a post-Crow world? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't understand how. I mean, it was a draw, is my understanding. Draw directly towards the camera, but. Your finger should not be on the trigger during that action either.
Yeah.
So there's a lot wrong, or there's another option here, guys. Or we're being fed a complete bullshit story and something else happened on the set.
Yeah.
Which almost seems more likely, simply because how much had to go wrong for the story they're telling.
Yeah. It sounds like they're really trying to find someone desperately to lay blame at the feet of, so that it doesn't get laid at the feet of maybe someone who's a lot more high profile, perhaps. So, I mean, there's still a lot to this story that will be told, I'm sure, at some point. And it's just unbelievable.
Doesn't Alec Baldwin bear some responsibility being a producer? And I know that may have been an entitled thing only, but he is the producer. Does he not have some responsibility? I know there seems to be a move to take everything off of him right now, and I don't even know exactly where I fall. I mean, it's a ridiculous production, and I think a lot of people should not work again after a mistake like that. But
we have to be a little bit careful about the executive producer thing because it really does not signify any actual active role. A lot of times with these lower budgeted films, especially the stuff made by Millennium, where you're seeing like these aging stars get action films, the budgets of these films do not support those type of actors. So what they do is they make them executive producers, and that entitles them to part of the back end of the film. So they have points on the film. They make 2% of profit after 30 days release, say. It's all going to be different, but that'd be typical. And it gets the actors to sign on to our project that can't pay them up front what they would otherwise have. So it's really a marketing trick, because the PGA rules, that is the Producers Guild of America rules, says that no one can have points on a film if they're not a producer.
But does that absolve him? Because you're still technically the producer.
So
You know
I
what
think
I mean?
his bigger liability comes from not following safety protocols with the gun in his hand, to be honest with you. The way the laws are written, having someone tell you to do something that is reckless does not absolve you of the behavior. Now, was it reckless? I wasn't there. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that I think he has more probably civil liability from being the guy who pulled the trigger. In any other situation, if this was just two guys on a gun range and one of them gets shot, take the movie theaters, the movie set completely out of it, there'd be some basic questions asked about safety precautions that would be considered reasonable to take. He's going to be in exactly that position. Just because it was a movie set and they were making a movie does not really change anything. But I don't think it'll be a criminal charge. I think there'd be too much to really get over. A lot of money, talking lawyers of the highest quality. I don't think any prosecutor really wants to go through that for whatever they get out of the other side. But civilly, we're going to be here. We're still going to be talking about this in 4 years, guaranteed.
So somebody, I mean, Baldwin will probably end up writing a pretty big check.
I think so.
Mike, the real Fifth Biddle, thank you for the £2 super chat. Halloween ends, plot twist, SJWs cancel him. Well, it's trying to happen. They're trying, or some I don't know. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that, man. Roland 666 says Alec Baldwin's stunt double fired 2 live rounds the same week before the accident. Yeah, because I'd heard that there'd been like walkouts, like people had walked off the set because of safety concerns and stuff. So, the
prop lady's an idiot. I think that goes without saying at this point. And I don't know who else really gets in trouble, but man, it just felt like there needed to be some kind of intervention on that set, and just everybody needed to get smacked in the face and wake up, because she shouldn't be dead. That's just ridiculous. That's insane. And
so what really destroys me about this is that this was a low budget production. So when the John Wick films are using digital discharges for all their fights, why was this film even using blanks?
Yeah.
I with software I own could do something that will look every bit as good. So why? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of old school action fans that do prefer that look of like actual gunfire. I think this was probably the last straw. I'd be really surprised if we get it anymore.
But my question there would be, if it's Sims, so do people really know though? Saving Private Ryan, it's like 90% digital gunfire.
That does it better. There are, again, it depends on the production. I mean, if you watch something on the Sci-Fi Channel, it's a very obviously not real gunfire.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it just depends. You can do it right to where, okay, I can buy the illusion. It's not a big deal. But yeah, maybe something like Rust, though, they know that it's like it would look fake and maybe take people out of the action.
Well, another example would be the Raid movies, which use digital almost exclusively for the guns.
Yeah, very well respected action films too. Those are
so my question is, why did we risk people Because even just using blanks is dangerous. Understand that like a blank in the chamber can still kill people. It's happened.
We've actually got a firearms expert who just popped into the green room, so I'm going to bring this person on. I think they're going to give some. I think they'll be able to give some really gripping testimony here. Sam, go ahead. You've got the floor.
Never point finger guns at somebody unless you're intending to shoot them. I heard y'all making Alec Baldwin jokes, and I was like, no, I have to be there. How's everybody doing? Thank you for letting me in, Piz.
Yeah, you're welcome. How's it going?
Good. We're just, kind of out and about, so couldn't really get here in time.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
That's cool. Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, we were talking about the Rust situation. Your thoughts on the Rust situation?
Somebody needs to stop Alec Baldwin before he kills again.
Well, you know what? After that voicemail he left his like 8-year-old daughter a few years ago, I can imagine he'd kill anybody.
Yeah,
That's true. That's very true.
Here's a funny story. I probably shouldn't tell this publicly. I called a coworker years ago and played that message and an edited version of that message, and she was scared to death. I scared the crap out of her. Yeah, she was really freaked out. So
Alec Baldwin gives new meaning to the term executive producer.
I want the next Saw reboot, whatever, to just be a case of Red Bull and Alec Baldwin and Mel Gibson in a room.
Oh,
whoever comes out.
That's brilliant.
Just
Jesus Christ.
I don't know on that one. I might give the edge to Mel. But...
Dan, you just brought it to mind. Like, can you imagine if the Saw films were produced the same way as Rust? We can just use real traps. It'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What could happen? Put this reverse bear trap on that woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We melted Donnie Wahlberg. Oh well.
Melted Donnie Wahlberg alive. Poor yeah, there'd be some casualties there, I'm sure.
No Boondock Saints 3 for Sean Patrick Flannery. It's just
that might be an okay thing.
Just be sure to subscribe to the Region Free YouTube channel and also check out the Patreon to get exclusive content and become a Regionaire.